Ahoy there! Captain Benzie here, coming at you with another patch notes video for EVE Echoes. We just received some really cool patch notes for tomorrow's update, being the 19th of August 2021. And oh boy, I'm excited for some of these, and I hope you will be too. Now, as usual with a patch note video, there's no flashy graphics here going on. It is literally just me talking and reading those patch notes, talking about what it means, and giving my own personal thoughts and opinions as we do so. Stressing there, my own personal thoughts and opinions. Recently, I've had a wave of commenters telling me that I'm flat out wrong, and it's unfair that, I should flag these things up as my opinion more. I say this every video, but hey, apparently, even in 2021, I still need to point out that this is just my opinion. Hey, there we go. I also apologise for my voice at the moment. It's fairly early in the morning, and I've got a little bit of a croaky throat going on, so hopefully that will hold out throughout this patch notes video. Anyway, as usual, if you enjoy the video, let me know by hitting a like on it, subscribe to the channel for all things EVE Echoes, ding that notification bell, and please make sure it is selected to all notifications so that you never miss an upload. Finally, if you do want to go the extra mile to support the channel, we have a Redbubble merchandise store and a Patreon where you can learn all about my life in Africa whilst earning towards some really cool exclusive merchandise too. Anyway, all that said and done then, let's actually have a look at the patch notes here for the 19th of August 2021. So it's going to take approximately 240 minutes to complete. That's quite a long patch time here. It's usually 120, so rather than the usual 2 hours, it is now 4 hours. Hopefully we get a little bit more compensation like we did last time it was longer like this. That's pretty cool. Anyway, what is actually coming? Number 1, updated estimated prices based on successful transactions in the market. Huzzah! This means the Estero and the Gamma are actually going to have a market value and therefore are insurable. I've been flying my Estero around quite a bit and thoroughly enjoying it, but I'm definitely not taking it anywhere where PvP could be a thing, simply because, yeah, I spent $3.5 billion buying the thing. It's not worth that much, by the way. I was just willing to pay that premium to get myself out of an interceptor. But yeah, it's kind of been terrifying flying it around and even sitting at gates in low sec and thinking, someone could just shoot me here and, suicide gank me just to get that kill mail and it's going to cost me so much to get it back. So yay, looks like the Estero and the Gamma are going to get their insurance values. Number 2, improved the performance of the market order search system in Jita. Okay, that's pretty cool. If you're trying to search market orders in Jita, you get a little bit of lag in that from time to time. I think there's a couple of other issues people have mentioned as well. Glad to see that's getting fixed, although I personally feel that's a bug fix, not an optimization, but yeah, thin line. Number 3, added a portal for insurance on the main interface. This is awesome. This is really, really useful for me. You know that whole thing like where you get out of your house, you shut the door, you lock it, you get in the car, you go to drive off, and then you think to yourself, did I lock the door? And you have to get out the car and check it, even though your head is saying to you, yes, you definitely locked the front door. I remember doing it, you still have to check it, right? Well, right now, if that happens with insurance, if you're going, hang on, did I have enough insurance points? Was I covered when I undocked? You have to dock back up and check it again in a Citadel. Now you can actually check it whilst you're flying as well, which is pretty sweet. I'm very happy for that change. Yes, I know it's an insurance thing, and people don't like insurance, and we're not going to go down this one. I did an entire rant on it recently. You should all know my thoughts and opinions by now, and if you don't, go look for the insurance rant video. Number 4, added smart assistant prompts that will show up after skipping tutorial missions. This is, again, quite cool. It's a way to get you to come back into the tutorial mission and make sure that you're either engaging with it and saying, like, hey, you've skipped a couple. Are you still interested in this? Do you want me to shut up about it? Or are you just skipping because you understand what you're doing? The new tutorial system I actually really like. I haven't really talked about it much in videos because there's not... It doesn't strike me as the kind of content that would be interesting to watch. Hey, here's the tutorial system and how it works. We've already covered this basically in the How to Survive Day 1 video, which, okay, things have changed somewhat. The missions themselves are different, but the basic premise is there, and if you can't follow the in-game instructions, why would you be watching a video on how to follow in-game instructions? I don't know, but I actually quite like the new tutorial system. Yeah, it was a bit buggy on day 1, especially for those of us who are out in nullsec or, obviously are a lot higher level than the tutorial was originally intended for. But having tried it on a new character as well, absolutely, I think it is a much better system. Still not completely perfect, but better than it was. A lot better than it was, and I'm looking forward to the tweaks and the adjustments they've talked about. Number 5, implemented the following balance adjustments for faction wargames. Oh boy. Number 1, the hyperspatial velocity optimizer rigs for interdictor frigates and assault frigates have been changed to targeting system subcontrollers. This is pretty cool. You don't really need that extra warp speed all that much in faction wargames. Having that additional lock time really helps out, especially for the assault frigates. Now I know obviously it's a bigger buff for the interdictors because the interceptors, because of course it is, they're interceptors. But obviously, you know, putting a rig that gives a 10% increase or whatever to a bigger number is a bigger increase. But it is mostly beneficial, I would argue, to the assault frigates. They can now lock on a lot faster than they could before. The interceptors were already locking on at a decent speed, I just didn't get why they needed warp speed. So, yeah, that's pretty cool. Number 2, can I get an hallelujah? The Higgs particle anchor of destroyers has been changed to the dynamic fuel valve. I don't even care what they swapped it to. They could have put a capacitor control rig on there or anything on there. I'm just glad they got rid of the Higgs particle anchor. Now, the reason that they had this on to begin with was to nerf destroyers, in inverted commas, internal balancing. Basically, that if destroyers were the same kind of speed, or only slightly slower than the other ships, the theory was that why would you go for anything other than destroyers? This still plays into the fact that, for crying out loud, they are the Tech 4 destroyers going up against Tech 8 interceptors, Tech 7 assault frigates, and Tech 6 bombers. Like, why? Why are they the Tech 4 Tech 4 destroyers? It's atrocious. Like, at least make the Talwar, the Korax, the Dragoon, and the Algos into their assault variants. Just why? Why are they the Tech 4 ones? And then, like, the Thrasher 2, again, why not at least the fleet issue? Faction Wargames has shown up so many problems with destroyers. I've mentioned before, I actually personally quite like flying the Dragoon in Faction Wargames. I do think that's a pretty good ship to fly, and it's a bit of a dark horse in there, but that Higgs anchor was quite literally really weighing them down. So I'm glad that's gone. They've realised that actually destroyers need buffs in general, not just in Faction Wargames. Nerfing them was ridiculous. Also, quick aside here, Duke, if you're listening, this is just one of many videos where I have turned around and said, destroyers need buffs. I don't know where you got the idea to go on this massive rant in the official Eve Echoes Discord recently that apparently I think destroyers need nerfs. Anyone who watches this channel should know otherwise. But hey, there we go. Let's just call that one out. I'm really hyped about this. Really, really hyped about this. It's hopefully a bit more reason to fly destroyers in Faction Wargames. I'm looking forward to doing so. I'm going to be testing out the Thrashers and things like that. They can be a lot of fun. They've just really been subpar. Is this enough to make them good? I don't honestly think so. I think that the destroyers need just buffs in general outside of Faction Wargames, which would help them in Faction Wargames. But hey, this is a step in the right direction. Someone told me there were going to be, if someone had told me there were going to be destroyer buffs in this patch, I would have been like super ridiculously excited. The fact that it's just, oh, we removed the nerf that we put on them in Faction Wargames, yeah, oh boy. Anyway, number 3, the EHP of haulers has been increased by 60%. Haulers are therefore a lot tankier, and this is pretty cool. This is pretty cool. It means that those fights are going to last a little bit longer, and there's going to be a reason, if there are 2 fleets attacking the haulers, to actually try and blow up the enemy fleet. Like, right now, if, there's 4 people already on a hauler, and another 4 people jump in, it basically just becomes a DPS race on the hauler most of the time, because people are trying to get that last hit in, because the haulers don't last particularly long. By more than doubling the HP here of the haulers, by adding an additional 60%, so not more than doubling, sorry, it's not, 160%, it's only 60, anyway. By adding that extra 60%, they are keeping the haulers out there a lot longer, which means if there's you and an enemy fleet attacking the hauler, there is now a reason to get rid of the fleet and stopping them trying to destroy it. I am all for that. That is so much better. That's a big tactical shift in Faction Wargames. Number 6 then, moving on, added a prompt between tutorial chapters that allows you to choose whether to begin the next chapter or not. Again, pretty cool. I'm hoping this is just a case of it allows you to automatically skip the next chapter, rather than just, no, we're going to stop the entire tutorial here, because I think it's, vital that you have that capability to pick and choose the stuff you want. I'd like to see just a straight out opt-out of the tutorial that then doesn't prompt you again. alongside, you know, the ability to skip each time. I think the choice is useful there, and that's a pretty nice change. Number 7, added a more detailed description for when the faction Wargames mode is accessible. This is pretty cool. I'm hoping it's now time sensitive, so it actually shows your local times properly, and all that kind of thing, giving a bit more information. We are, what, 2-3 weeks into faction Wargames now? I'm losing count of the time. It's just flying by. And I still have people in Alliance chat and DMs asking me, why can't I access faction Wargames? And it's like at some ridiculous time of the day that's not even close to the time. So it's clearly something that is still confusing people. I'm not mocking people for asking the question. I'm saying that it's still clearly something that is confusing people, and there needs to be a bit more information as to why that is. Like having it so that when you try to queue up and it's not open, giving an actual message that says it's not open yet. It will be open at this time. Like not just, oh, this is the next one, but this is the next one, and here are the other times as well. Giving you the full information up front, I think would be really, really helpful. So hopefully that goes a ways to fixing that. Number 8, now when processing corporation applications in batches, encountering problematic applications will no longer stop the rest of the batch from being processed. This is where you could basically go to like a decline all or an accept all. If someone halfway down that list, or heck, the third person on that list, has like joined another corporation in that time, like they've put out 2 applications, they've joined different ones, so therefore the accept is no longer there, or perhaps they've been invited outside, you know, they've had a direct invite and you're trying to decline all, it would bug and basically say, right, no, and you'd have to then manually deal with that one and then process the rest again. And if there was like 3 or 4 of these on a list of, say, 80 applicants, it got pretty frustrating, so I'm glad that's been fixed. Number 9, improved market order rules, making order matchmaking much faster. This is about when you sell something using a buy order, when you buy something using a buy order or sell it using a direct sell order, it actually matches it a lot better now. This is a good change. Just generally, this is a good change. It means that market transactions are going to be just that little bit smoother, and coming off the back of audit changes recently, again, to me, that can only really be a good thing. Number 10, you can now use the regional delivery service in any station's warehouse outside nullsec to ship items to any station within the same region. Awesome! This is actually pretty cool. It's pretty niche, I'll be honest, but it's still pretty cool. It means, for example, if you've got a load of stuff sitting around in different stations, all within one particular region, so, for example, you're sitting in Metropolis, and you've got some stuff, you know, in Heck, and you've got some stuff in Pater, you've got some stuff in Conora, you can actually have it all shipped to the same station, just to help neaten things up and make sure all your gear is in one place. And hey, if that's something that helps haulers, I'm all for that as well. Hauling is, you know, it's a very rarely talked about part of the game, but I know plenty of people who do really enjoy it and, you know, have a lot of fun with that. So something that helps haulers out like this, gives them a bit more content, heck, again, all for it. Number 11. When using the regional delivery service, the shipping fee will be waived only when it meets the following requirements. The item is valued at less than 100 million ISK, the total volume of the item is under 10,000 cubic meters, and the delivery route goes only through high-sec systems. Okay, that kind of makes sense. That if you're moving stuff through high-sec and it's fairly cheap stuff, there's no delivery fee whatsoever anymore. Does that mean that the haulers do... Oh, wait, it's the regional delivery service. This is the one that the game just automatically transfers to you. Does that mean the same? Are we talking about here, then? Regional delivery service. Oh, that might not be anything to do with haulers then, might it? That's the regional delivery is the one where you buy something off Jita and you can have it shipped to any other station within the Forge or the Citadel, whichever one Jita's in. I can never bloody well remember. You can have it shipped to any other station within the region at a cost. Now it looks like they are removing the cost for shipping anything less than 100 million ISK in value, under 10,000 meters cubic of space. And if the delivery route only goes through high-sec systems, which means for me, if I want to have something shipped to, say, Archeo, which is a 0.2 sec system on the borders of Geminate, that is still going to cost me because it goes into, obviously, a low-sec system, and if anything, it's above those values, then yeah, it's, you know, not going to be delivered there. I'm kind of disappointed that it's just the regional delivery. I'm still looking forward to the days when we can contract, you know, actually put up a delivery contract where you can have stuff in a station that you just sit there and say, right, I've got a load of stuff sitting in Holiday, and I want to get it shipped out to Shiru or to Conera or to wherever, Eggbinger. I would like all of that stuff grouped up into a shipping container. Someone picks it up, delivers it to me for a fee. I think that would be a pretty cool system. I'm still slightly disappointed that's not in the game. Again, I get that it's a fairly niche thing, but I think it would be useful, and it gives haulers that bit more work to do. But yeah, I mean, I suppose this is a nice quality of life change for people living in high sec and low sec, and sort of just wanting to transport goods around. Sort of, you can just jump it to whichever station you want. That's pretty cool. It's useful for new players who are just finding their feet in the game and are maybe sitting there going, "Oh, I've just bought this ship. Where on earth actually is it? Oh, it's all the way over there. Now I've got to fly all the way over there in this ship, and then how do I get that ship over here?" You know, we all know how to do that now. We know that you can sort of, you know, go out in a capsule and grab that ship and bring it back. Now, though, it looks like there's just going to be a nice, easy way of doing that and moving stuff around, which I'm kind of all for. I just think there's more needed for haulers as well. Finally, then, we have the 2 bug fixes. Fixed an issue where the line breaks didn't work properly for Korean words. Fair point, I don't speak Korean, I have no idea how, you know, that was a problem. Obviously, if you are a Korean language speaker using this in Korean, that must have been ridiculously frustrating, so I'm glad it's fixed. And fixed the issue where the window for changing drones and the window for changing modules would pop up at the same time. I think this is when you go into the fitting menu, you sometimes get that issue where you get multiple boxes pop up and you can't actually swap things because the other box is open in the background. Maybe? I don't know. It's, again, niche, but hey, bug fixes usually are fairly niche. Still glad to see that they are getting sorted. Now, I'm pretty excited about those changes there to Faction Wargames for a couple of different reasons. One, it shows that the developers are aware that Faction Wargames is an ongoing system, and that sometimes things aren't always correct the first time round. They're looking at it, they're changing it, they're fixing it. They're not just going, "Oh, well, okay, that one sucks, let's bring out a new mode." They're fixing what they've currently got before launching new content. If only they would do this with ships. I'm looking at huge dreadnoughts and carriers. Yes, I'm still not overly excited about those coming, but I'm glad that other people are getting content they're looking forward to. Just because I don't like it doesn't mean that, you know, you guys shouldn't enjoy it as well. Anyway, beyond that, I like the EHP increase. I think that adds a lot of tactics. I'm also super excited to see that the developers are well aware that there are problems with destroyers. Sad to see that it's only in Faction Wargames. I'm still hoping to sit down with the developers at some point, so Melos, Lancedot, if either of you are listening to this, I have reached out to both of them already, but I'm hoping to have a conversation with you guys soon about some of the balance issues. Now, today I was actually going to be releasing a video on Benzie's balance ideas regarding small ships. This patch note video obviously has come out instead because it's, you know, relevant to today. It's pointless releasing a patch note video tomorrow, but there we go. So do expect that Benzie's balance video very soon. We're on Wednesday today. Yeah, it should either be tomorrow or Friday, depending on what else comes up in the game. So keep an eye out for that. That will be on its way very, very soon. Anyway, folks, thank you for watching this one right the way to the end. It really does help the algorithm for those of you who do stick around. So absolutely, it's always just nice to know as well that, you know, people are interested in hearing what I say right the way to the very end of the video. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on this patch in the comment section down below. Interested to know what you guys think of the changes and fixes and all that kind of thing. Otherwise, happy sailing, and see you in New Eden!